Hello and welcome to the Asian Conference on Psychology and Behavioral Sciences 2022. This presentation is on potential assessment instruments for the APA proposed internet gaming disorder, a systematic review. My name is Dr. Ezra Lockhart. I have 18 years experience in mental health and addictions counseling across multiple states. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, master addictions counselor, and a current board member for the Alaska chapter of NADAC. I'm a professor of counseling at Yorkville University in Canada and affiliate faculty with the Colorado School for Family Therapy in the United States. Access to computers and the internet has become increasingly ubiquitous, with 2 billion global internet users, 89.4% of the US population, 96.5% of the Canadian population, and 92.5% of the UK population using the internet. And of those users, 77% of adults and youth are choosing computer games as a form of recreation. However, a portion of the population is developing unhealthy preoccupation with online gaming activity. Which brings us to pathological gaming, which has several dimensions. The first is time investment, with an average of 25.5 and 38.2 hours per week spent gaming, and a habitual routine that can go upwards of 85 hours a week. And preoccupation outside of gameplay. So in other words, when you're not gaming, you're still thinking about the game. There's a bit of a cycle regarding negative feelings where gameplay, the aim of gameplay is to alleviate feelings of helplessness, guilt, anxiety, and depression, and then attempting to stop gameplay causes restlessness, irritability, frustration, anger, anxiety, or sadness. And with the high time investment and preoccupation, individuals are neglecting and abandoning schooling, employment, relationships, child rearing, and their physical health. Indeed, pathological gaming warrants in-depth investigation. In the mid-2018, gaming disorder became official with the World Health Organization's release of the 11th revision of the ICD-10, the International Classification of Diseases. The American Psychiatric Association, APA, 5 years earlier proposed internet gaming as a condition warranting further research in their DSM-5, which is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Health Disorders. However, to date, the APA has not recognized pathological gaming as an official disorder. Consequently, there is currently no standard screening or assessment tools to directly evaluate pathological gaming. The APA has provided some guidance on the creation of proposed criteria in the convening of an international work group in 2014 by Petrie and colleagues. That international work group comprised of 12 experts representing 9 countries: Australia, China, France, Germany, Mexico, the Netherlands, Singapore, Spain, and the US. The discussion was around earlier findings from Petrie and colleagues. They interpreted 9 proposed criteria and then translated it into 10 different languages to aid in arriving at meaning and interpretation for each of those criterion. Petrie and colleagues proposed that internet gaming disorder is the presence of excessive online gameplay behaviors that produce clinical impairment. You can see to the left a list of the 9 proposed criteria. which are preoccupation, withdrawal, tolerance, persistence, displacement, problems, deception, escape, and conflict. And to the right is a list of each description for those criteria. However, the work group did not establish clinical threshold or a criteria cutoff requirement. There was a proposal to recommend 5 or more of these symptoms within a 12-month period. Which brings us to my current study with an aim to investigate the assessment of internet gaming disorder. However, keywords describing internet addiction were also used in a string to search for eligible articles to broaden the search. A systematic search of the international literature was conducted with 3 inclusion criteria. The first, the use of internet for gaming, but not for accessing information, cybersex, gambling, or social media. Second, there must be a comparison with a control group. And last, assessment of the severity of symptomatology of internet gaming disorder. 8 instruments were uncovered in the systematic review, which were developed individually in countries including the Netherlands, Australia, Germany, Hungary, Spain, and the US, which you can see here on the screen. 3 of the 8 instruments were independently developed in the Netherlands. The inventory size ranged from 8 to 27 items with an average of 15 items per instrument. Displacement and escape behavioral symptoms were the least assessed for, with only 3 instruments inquiring about displacement and 1 inquire about escape. Preoccupation, withdrawal, persistence, and conflict behavioral symptoms were consistently inquired about in every instrument discovered in the search. Problems and deception behavior symptoms were inconsistently inquired about with ratios of 6 to 8 and 5 to 8 respectively. The PI-9, which is the Personal Internet Gaming Disorder Evaluation 9 item, developed out of Australia by Dr. Percy, is the only instrument found to evaluate all 9 proposed criteria for internet gaming disorder as proposed by Petrie and colleagues and found by this study. I thank you for your patience and attention, and we will proceed with the reference slides.